Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons why I'm talking about online before. I've never felt that online would ever be a threat to a magazine, because I've never felt that it's the right form to read, the right format to read long-form journalism. Having said that, tablets I think is a completely different issue. I think one of the things in terms of competing with short attention spans, and I do find it very sad, that increasingly people have less and less, smaller and smaller attention span. I think that there's a number of things that we do as a publisher for that, is making sure that we are using social channels very, very thoroughly, so that people can get small tasters and then make the decision as to whether they then want to invest the time in reading, in spending more time reading that. So, you know, everything that we write is tweeted, is posted on Facebook, is put out on Google+, and so on. We'll even do, you know, kind of 3-minute videos of things, and so on and so forth. So we do try to take kind of bite-sized versions of what we're then writing about and then push that through. And I think as a publisher, that's kind of probably that's our response to that. But yeah, I think it's very sad. I wish it weren't the case.
I don't know if they are reducing, to be honest with you. I think people are more distracted. It's noisier. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Critical to any kind of media strategy is actually think about the device, the context, the users using the device in, the screen. And so actually, you know, the way that we look at it at Incisive, the way that AOP sort of advises its publishing members to look at it, is that, you know, the media mix is actually using different devices for different kinds of content to get the maximum effect again. And so actually, if you look at our users, you can certainly see that the website is very much a resource. They probably interact mostly through email. They go there to actually search the archive. They go there to do some things that are easy to do on bigger screens. But equally, all of the sites are mobile enabled, so some people are doing that through mobile phones. Generally, tablets have significantly higher dwell time for editions or web browsing, particularly if the web pages have been optimized for tablets. They can be swiped and treated as pages. To the extent that, you know, you might see typically with a website, you know, 5 minutes, 4 to 5 pages activity, but you might see on a tablet edition, certainly something like Legal Week, maybe 40 minutes, 50, 60 pages. So I think the device, the use, the context, the screen, that mixed together means that you want to look at users across all their devices to see what they're using, rather than isolating on internet or tablet or phone.
I've got a good example. So we're launching at the moment, which is actually B2B. It's digital only. It's for the UK's leading retail analyst. We're launching a website for them. It's a really interesting model. Any of you can borrow the model because you've all got your own industries, but it's extremely niche. We are looking with him at what would be a good result for him in a year's time, which will probably succeed in 3 months, is 50 to 100 subscribers at £10,000 a subscription. And what we're doing is, going back to your short span point, is he will write white papers on retail analysis. So for example, while we were drinking coffee, there was the announcement that Carphone Warehouse and Dixon's have merged in a £3.7 billion merger. So his audience are CEOs and MDs of the world's leading retail organisations. So to find 50 or 100 is very easy for him. They'll all want to know what that merger means in the UK. What does it mean for the two companies? What does it mean for them if they're a competitor? And he will use Shortspan in terms of how we promote the white paper through Twitter. So he will tweet this morning through a bit of prodding from me, saying don't forget to tweet on this, saying, you know, he'll take an angle on that. One of the things that probably most of the CEOs will want to know is who's going to be the CEO of this new formed group. You know, you've just seen the failure of the Publicis and Omnicom merger, and that's because you've got two massive egos, and there was only one job, and they both wanted it, and it's probably a bit of fun. It was probably all started off by, well, let's just upset Marks and Sorrell. So if any of you work for either Publicis, Omnicom, or WPP, you'll probably know more about that than I do. and in the end, it was ego that wouldn't allow it. So what's going to happen? And you could actually make a comparison between mergers that work and mergers that don't work. And I would say most CEO retailers in the UK and outside the UK will want that story. So to pay £10,000 a year for pretty much 2 or 3 white papers a week is something they'll do. We won't print it. There will never be a publication. Those CEOs will put their PAs download it. They'll probably read it on a flight somewhere or being driven to a meeting or whatever it might be. So I think what's interesting in B2B is very, very, very niche. If you can find a very niche topic with a very wealthy audience, so you're in the airline industry, great, 50 airline manufacturers or airlines, if you take the airline industry, what are the topics they're really, really interested in? I've got no idea, fuel, passengers, I don't know, pollution, who knows? And if you could follow that model, you could get rich very quickly.
I think that developing really niche topics is a really cool one. I used to work for a publication, where a series of publications actually formed part of the Incisive portfolio called Incisive Research, which tried to do that. The challenge we had was trying to provide the must-haveness of that information, which was age of 24. I wasn't really adept at doing that. I'm not sure I'll be that good at 41, but I'll do my best. But I think when you're dealing with a bigger pool of content, another what means of doing that, which is easy to say, less is to deliver, is to enable personalisation and enable kind of selection of content. So you've got a big pool of content, you can allow people to say exactly what it is they want to know about. So in our audience, for example, there's lots of interesting things like content marketing and things like social media and marketing automation. So you can give people the option to just get that content served up to them in a way that they want to get it. That's one very, very good way of doing it. And to hijack Dickens' point from earlier on, I think, and John was absolutely right, he said the key thing now is the noise. There's so much going on. I don't like him. I'm not sure I agree with you that it's necessarily people's attention span, but it's just so much more out there. It's making your publication relevant through things like educating and enlightening and entertaining people, making your brand the one people want to go to, so that it counts for much more than the content, than the owned content that brand produce themselves, which, unless it's done by Middle Brown, may not have their resonance in the kind of slickness and gravitas that the media produced content.
Was John Brown?
Sorry, John Brown.
Don't worry, that's okay.
Okay, I don't know if you want to say something, Dick. You write a magazine for teenagers, you must be an expert on short attention span.
Actually, I'm not sure that they are shortening. I think the person who's doing your Twitter feed, looking at Twitter feed during the day on the mobile, is maybe the same person who's lying back and reading in the bath and reading your long feature in the magazine. It's different things in the different channels at the right times. The readers are often the same people. And in terms of attention spans, it's interesting that I think that there are some, people are trying new things with an investigative magazine that sends you one article per month, which is definitely long-form journalism online. Vice magazine has got some great success with its long half-hour videos, which are aimed at the digital natives and the huge viewing figures. And actually, our own research in Flipside, we were quite surprised at how much they still like the print thing. So it would be great if we could just shift it all to tablet, to be honest, but I don't think they're quite ready for that yet. But to try and answer your question about where would be a good place to do that kind of thing, I think tablet offers a real opportunity, because if you can do the native advertising in that, you can bring a little bit of extra budget, a little bit of thought process to working something out together that can work, that allows you to do creative, new, grabbing things in the tablet, and also reflect that in the print as well. I think someone made points about the time people spend on tablet editions. We did some market research just a few weeks ago, and we found not only do they spend more time on the tablet edition than they spend online, a lot more, but they spend more on the tablet edition than they spend on the print edition. So they find it more engaging and they spend longer in it.
And can I just use this as an opportunity to do a plug for the PRCA? PRCA members can also get a tablet edition of Communicate magazine with additional content for just about PRCA topics.
Thank you.